Well, also heartbreak if you stop going running to your friends about every little situation that you mad about.
Thank you. I used to tell a girl, man, I used to say, look, the musty ass friends of yours gonna be the reason why we don't make it.
It's time to unmute me.
Unmuting now.
The podcast that connects you with the different voices, topics, and perspectives about relationships to grow a deeper understanding.
Relationships are hard.
This is real life. Hear both sides while we tap into the fun.
Ask what would be spicy.
The bad,
toxic relationship,
and everything in between.
Boy, bye.
Now let's talk it out to work it out with your licensed counselor, Portia Smith.
What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Unmute Me Podcast. Our host, Portia Smith. Do your thing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unmute Me Podcast show. We're happy you guys are here with us today, and we have with us our co-host, Al. We have Mark. We have Mike, Miss Arinda, and Miss Tiffany. And today's show, we're going to talk about communication and listening in relationships. But first, we like to do something fun. We have a segment called For Keeps or For the Streets. So take it away, Miss Arinda.
All right, so this is Miss E with the T, and I'm coming to you, letting you know about For Keeps or For the Street. We saw on another blog that there was a young lady who felt like her wife should give her more child support. The wife was getting $900 a month for child support, but she found out that her husband's new wife makes over $1 million a year. So she was asking this certain blog, should she ask the guy for much more money? So how do y'all feel about that? Should she get the extra child support, or should she just stay at the $900?
Told her she could have $900 one kid. Come on, man, that's crazy.
Let me make sure I understand this. So her ex-husband married to another woman, and that woman is making $1 million.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what's her current situation? Is she married, or is she just out there in the wind? I mean, what's going on?
She is also married. She's married to a guy that's in the military.
Oh,
but she said that they were struggling.
You want this man's wife to help fund what? If the man is already paying child support, what he's already doing, hopefully he's already paying child support, right?
Yes, he's already paying $900
money to come into your household, and you got a whole grown ass man you married to too. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a man. You know, women don't have different opinions. Help me understand. I don't see.
No, I agree on that. Yeah. I think knowing that she is married to someone else, he is the head of the household, so he should be responsible for that family. And you know, I think that the child support should stay where it is, and it shouldn't be relied on the wife, on her ex-husband wife's current situation. So I just think that, you know, to me, I think that's a little bit selfish on their end, knowing that they are struggling, meaning the husband, wife, and whoever else is in the household. I don't think that's fair to the ex-husband and the wife in his situation.
How do you feel about that, Mark?
Like 900 is good for one kid. Like you married, you support a child. That's what's mattering. Now, any other bills that you recurring putting out in debt, then if as that other husband, you can't get mad because your ex found something better. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, because then you got somebody that's not making money like that. So yeah, I need to figure out what y'all need to do to make some more money.
I understand what y'all are saying, but what about the actual system? Do the system work that way? Because I know of two situations where women have gotten married to a man who was paying child support. But once they got married, the judge went back and looked at the full income. And it went from one incident, it went from $400 to $1,400.
I think they can legally do that. Look at the whole household income.
So if the 900 ain't enough, one kid, and you struggling with that 900, it sounds like the issue is custody. If that other family doing so well, you need to let that child go live with that other family that can better support them, not give you the money and let you decide what to do with it. No, this ain't your money. This that child money. And if that child lacking, send them on over here. We'll raise them.
That has happened because you know that Usher got custody of his children.
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade. So most of the time, if a man is in a much more financial status, this now the judge is giving the child over to the more financially stable parent.
Right.
Was it where just the mother is by herself, or was she married to somebody else and they both they took the man back?
No, in the situation that I know of was a single woman who got with the man who had kids, and when she married the guy, the judge went into her bank account too, and it went from 400 to 1,400.
But is it fair?
No, I don't think it's
It
fair.
never is.
No, it's not. It's
Never
I feel
not.
like anybody should take from my income just because I married somebody with a child. Now they want extra money. That just don't add up to me.
I feel like if I dated a man with a child, I would want to give some money to that child.
I would do for the child, but I don't feel like child support should be increased just because, unless that person is just dirt poor, can't work, have a disability, the kid got disability, if it's other factors going on. But if we all able-bodied people and work and all got decent jobs and you get $900 a month, why now, because we're married, do your child support need to increase?
For Social Security playing with me.
But I would say this. I'm going to point to just in the beginning of dating, with someone with kids, a guy with kids. That's the reason why for me, if I know that someone has children, I usually I ask a lot of questions, even the questions about their child's mother, just to even kind of get a gauge of what would it look like by me being in a relationship. Like, okay, is this type of person, if we do get married and I make this amount of income, how will this affect? You see what I'm saying? It's just kind of just to further assess it and see, okay, am I willing to even step in this relationship? Because even though, we do have some compatibilities or whatnot, the child is involved. And if the child's mother is the type of person where she likes money or always wants money, then okay, that's something to also consider.
I meet people and I explain to them the dynamic between me and my child's mama, and they were like, "Y'all get along?" Well, yeah. I give her. She asked me for $100 a week with $400 a month, and I even give her more than that because I'm just grateful we can keep the system out of our system and we can raise the child effectively.
Right.
Even my baby mama's boyfriend, it blew his mind that we were so cool. I called him and talked to them like we brothers and sisters. Yeah, it ain't no problem. Just come up with an agreement, do what you got to do by your agreement, and live.
Right.
It's a touchy situation altogether because at the end of the day, it's not about the adults, it's about the child. And if it's a situation where they're struggling, we know how parents can be. That money is not just going to go to the child. That money is going to go, I put the lights and as some mothers, they don't even use the money really for the child. They be at the club with the child support.
I get, like you said, if they're struggling and as the child seeing that, but if both parents, like Mike said, like I get married and she gets married, then you marry somebody, then that's something y'all need to talk about as far as what's going on in your own household. You know what I'm saying? Like I get but if I'm helping you make sure our child is good, then that's great. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm here for my child, not to take care of you and your man. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a wife, so why would I take care of you and your man? Your man needs to step up and do what he needs to do as far as being a provider in his home, or something y'all need to work on together to figure out how to provide for your home. Like I said, maybe if to get on their feet, maybe send a child to the dad, until you get where you need to be. If you feel like that it is a strain on your household, don't make it seem like, oh, your new wife is making millions, so now I need to go ahead and get some more money. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think I would probably ask for custody of the child, because if the child is already getting, half of my money, then I would say, hey, just bring the child. Just be careful who you marry, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's say gentlemen.
So our second topic for Keeps on the Streets is Mr. Mendici. So we all know that Mr. Mendici went to jail for 4 years, and his beautiful wife, Yandy, stuck by his side and was a ride or die wife Well, they just was on a TV show called Couples Retreat. And she asked Mendici, if I was in jail, would you do the same thing for me? And he responded by saying, I don't know. Is he for keeps or the streets? How do you feel, Miss Tiffany?
The streets. The reason why, because if I was Yandy and I put so much time and energy into him and the relationship and the situation that, you know, they both went through, that's like a big red flag, because we never know what the future may hold. So then that's telling me, okay, you don't know. So what happened if something does happen? How would I know that you'll, you know, have my back? So that would be a big red flag. I mean, I understand they have history, but I mean, just based on that situation, I would just say, I'd say for the streets on that. I'm sorry, because, you know, that's a lot of years and time and energy that she put into that relationship, and that she hold them down in this entire time. And then by you saying, and then on TV, on top of that, you know, where millions can see, you know, I know that's kind of like a stab on her back.
How do you feel, Mr. L?
I don't know what to say about that. I heard about it. Did he really answer the question though?
I don't know. What? I don't know.
Well,
He
he
didn't
I
came
don't
answer.
know
He
if I
didn't
would
say
be able
yes
to
or
hold
no.
you down.
He didn't say yes or no.
Well, he came back with a response after
What is that?
Yeah.
he didn't want to make it a big deal or a big issue on TV. So that's why he just left it at I don't know.
Oh yeah, that sounds a little weak. I don't know about that.
Especially when your wife has already held you down.
I get it, because you talking like this. I get it. But it's a hypothetical question. And he just could have just like, yeah, I got you. They could have argued amongst themselves, but just like, yeah, I got you. I don't know. I don't when it comes, I don't know. She's keep the dude or not. They got kids.
Yeah.
They have two
Totally
kids.
dynamic.
Three kids.
Three kids, and the dude was being honest on TV. He ain't lying. But now she know where he stands, so she know how to treat him.
I feel when someone tap dance, and that tells you the answer. That
That
gives you
is
the
an answer. Yeah, that is an answer.
A mixed signal is a signal. You hear that, lady? A mixed signal is a signal.
Let's be honest. Y'all women probably gonna hold it down longer than we will.
They say that. We got Papoose
Papoose
hold us down, bro.
And I would say we got a small percentage of us men. I mean, they're probably a hold it down. Like I said,
Papoose do it.
Right, that's true. I mean, I would say it's a small percentage of us. Like, is he gonna still run the business, make sure money being made? Absolutely. Is he gonna stay faithful? I don't know.
Maybe
but right, that was I don't know him, but I mean, if you're talking about any other general regular men, and anytime I have any random conversation with anybody else, when I speak to ladies about it, they already know, like, man, y'all men ain't gonna stay faithful. We will actually jail. Would they like move on and try to find somebody else? No. Would they be, would we be doing our thing out here till you get out? Yeah, man, probably so,
Mike, you've been quiet. How you feel?
If it was me, no, I'm not finna do it. And I wouldn't expect you to hold me down if I went to prison. That's selfish to me, because even the Bible says the flesh is weak. People have needs, people have desires, and them desires are strong. And that's why a lot of folks out here lying about it, and they still doing it. So if we had to come up with agreement, and it was me going in, like, look, find you somebody nice or whatever. Don't have them around these kids, but take care of your needs, because I'll be back. And if we can reconvene after that, so be it. But I'm not finna tell her, you better put a chastity belt on that thing till I get back.
But I don't even think she was necessarily talking about sex. I just think she was saying how she stayed married to him. She didn't divorce him and just move on with another man.
Yeah, I could dig that. But
I can dig that, yeah.
A lot of times when people say hold you down or faithfulness is pretty much involved.
Yeah, that's part of it too, yeah. Like we could still be married, but they're gonna still be doing their thing. Because I even know that, like you said, there's someone that held it down and their man been in jail. They might have been dating other people, like you said, because the flesh is weak. They still needed that. But then when they knew that the person was getting out of jail, they're like, okay, I'm done with you. They cut them off and they wait on their dude to come out. So that was it.
But I think that's where communications will start. Knowing if you know that you're going to prison, you're going to be there a long time. I think you and whoever needs to sit down and talk about that and make sure you guys have an agreement. So if you guys are okay with, okay, you do you while I'm in there, then that's fine. I just think as long as they, communication is open and they both have an understanding. It kind of sounds like they didn't really do a lot of in-depth talking. I think, and this is just my assumption, just, you know, I know that she's really in love with him and just, you know, want to be by his side. And it sounds like that he was kind of like, okay, it is what it is. And he went to that. I mean, I'm just going just based on my assumptions.
Well, all I know is if I hold you down for 4 years, if I marry you before you go to jail, then I hold you down for 4 years and you get on national TV and embarrass me in front of all my friends and all my ex-boyfriends who did me wrong. We would have a real show because I would knock you upside your head. Do not embarrass me in front of the whole world and say you don't know.
Like I said, it was a hypothetical. We could have just like, yeah, I got it. It was a hypothetical.
Don't even hypothetical. What you do is, my beautiful Black queen, you know I will hold you down.
Right.
Yeah. You're on TV. You don't embarrass me on TV.
Right.
In front of my friends.
I agree.
In front of my homies. You don't embarrass me.
You're gonna be even more embarrassed when he get on live TV and say he gonna hold you down, and then get in the real world and don't hold you down.
Right. Exactly. So I don't know what's a good answer.
Well, I got a little Phaedra in me. You go to jail. I'm gonna be in Bora Bora while you, like how she was on vacation. With, what's the band name? What's Phaedra's husband name? What was his name? I don't even remember.
Apollo.
When Apollo was on his way to jail, Phaedra was in Jamaica chilling. And that's
if I go to jail,
I gotta go. I can't hold you.
If I go to jail taking a charge for you, you better hold me down.
Hold something down.
If me and you doing something wrong, and I'm like, I'm gonna take all the blame because I want you out here handling my business, you better hold me down. If I'm gonna take that charge for you. Or if I'm just gonna sit here and just like, oh no, it's all on me, even though I know you was well part of it.
Oh, so y'all trying to say Phaedra a criminal too? Huh?
No, I don't know that lady. I don't know what the hell she doing. I don't know that lady. I'm not.
What's the tea? What's the real tea? We can go back to that story.
Let it be somebody I know.
Don't break the code.
Don't
let it be somebody I'm at odds with.
No, that's man. No, that's
close friends.
You don't do that. You don't back on nobody like that.
Unless they owe you money.
You owe me money anyway.
Because they owe you some money. I got you. Back to you, Portia.
How often do we hear that our partner doesn't listen to us and doesn't communicate with us, doesn't listen to our needs? You know, on a lot of social media groups that I'm in, I often see they'll post a question, and even in our post, we post a question, what do men really want? What do women really want? And 9 times out of 10, the biggest thing is people want someone that's going to listen to their needs and communicate with them. So I just wanted to do this show just to get some feedback from all of you guys to see, like, what do you think, how important listening is in your relationship? Do you feel like that's something that's like top priority for you, or is it something that doesn't really matter to you in a relationship? Arunda, tell me, how do you feel about that?
I don't even necessarily think that listening is important. I think it's a man comprehending what I'm saying, because someone can listen and hear you all day, but if they don't comprehend what I'm saying, then it's just like talking to a brick wall. It's like talking to a brick wall. So don't just listen to me, comprehend, internalize it, repeat it back to me, and then let's see what we can do to fix whatever it is that I'm telling you. Absolutely. So it's important.
Absolutely. What do you think about that, Mark?
Like when I say, it's kind of like comprehending. Like I said, I could talk all day, but do you hear me? How many times am I going to have to, at the end of the day, I know we probably would have to repeat something that we've discussed, but how many times do I have to keep talking about it? 4 or 5 months, 6 months, do I keep saying the same thing over? It's like, we need that. If we don't talk, how am I know what's upsetting you? How am I know what not to push, what to push? Because it just, everything is important there. Especially as far as women listening to men nowadays. Sometimes I think that'd be lacking, where women think that it's not important to listen to a man's feelings. How many times y'all been somewhere and then the man probably is not talking to y'all for again? You don't talk. Tell me your opinion. Why you ain't talking? We've got to the part where we don't express it. But then if you do give somebody that's expressing a man expressing their feelings, then you shutting them down, then what you expect? Now you're gonna get the walls.
What do you think, for? How do you feel about listening and communicating in relationships? A lot of times people say that's top priority to them, and that's something they feel like they don't get in a relationship.
Communication is a main component to any kind of ship you have. Business, partnership, friendship, relationship, girlfriend, boyfriendship, whatever it is. If y'all ain't communicating worth a damn, y'all just lost in the water. Y'all the two people making noise. And the point you brought up about understanding, yeah, people understand, try to understand when they actually care. Communication as a whole is all about listening, understanding, and trying to implement and compromising. So it's a whole component to it. It's a must and it need to be worked on and implemented at all times. I got one other thing. What don't hold nothing in. That's part of communication. Do a certain kind of way to express it. Don't be trying to protect nobody's feelings and this and that, because you hurt people's feelings more when you hold stuff away from them. That's one thing I do know about communication. Stop holding stuff up, and when it build up, you coming at the other person, they like, damn, where is it coming from?
Communication is very important. And also, like with listening, one person has said, it's like a quote, the first duty of love is to listen. And one thing that just in relationships, I mean, when it comes to listening, it's more than just hearing. It's about sitting and allowing that person's thoughts and feelings to sit in, and you just be in that moment and empathize and reflect to that person. Like, okay, I hear you saying, so that person know that you are listening, and then also implementing what that person is saying, trying to put an action to it. So then that's basically, to me, that's what listening is. I think a lot of people, when it comes to hearing and listening, I think hearing a person, like when it comes to relationship and they're not really listening, it's more like an ego thing, in a sense of, they're implementing their own biases in their own thought process while they're listening or hearing the other person out. So then they're not really actually understanding what that other person is saying. So then that's where the communication kind of get construed. So I do think when it comes to like just listening, I think that really is important. By being, the therapist and the crisis responder, I remember getting a lot of calls. At the end of the call, you have people that want to like take their own lives. And then at the end of the call, they say, you know what? Thank you for listening. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. So actually, I think with listening and actually, like I said, implementing those steps, I think that will play a very crucial part in a relationship.
Do you all think that men and women listen different in relationships?
Yep.
I agree. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why do you say that, Mike?
We listen logically. Women listen emotionally.
Yes, preach.
Like a woman would ask you to do the most irrational thing, but it makes her feel good and it makes her happy and it makes her feel wanted or whatever that is. My problem was always, if somebody asked me something that's irrational, I ain't going for it. I'm sorry. Like, we grown. My biggest thing is I used to always, well, you don't cater to my feelings. You don't make me feel good. I'm like, well, you don't cater to mine either, simply because I don't ask you to cater to my feelings. I know how to handle me. I know how to handle my emotions. Mm-hmm. And I get a lot of flack because I don't really fall into that, oh, I'm so sad. Well, do something to make it happen. Why do we have to go through all this emotional games? It's just games to me. You probably see why I have such bad luck in this field. So,
It ain't just. He was like, he holding us out, break up with me.
Let's just stop playing. Let's stop playing.
What do you think about that, Mr. Brenda? Do you think we listen different in relationships?
I do. I think we as women can be so delusional sometimes when it comes down to relationships. We fantasize about what this man is before we even get to know him. And most of the time we let ourselves down and then blame the man when the man had nothing to do with what was going on in our heads.
That's called Walt Disney messed up.
So what now?
Walt Disney. He destroyed y'all at a young age.
And Tyler Perry movies and social media and the fake couples and all of it. Women get mad at their husbands because their husbands is not going all out and getting all these flowers and having them do massages and all this stuff. But it's like, but your husband is being faithful and he actually likes you. This girl paid for this. You know what I'm saying? This is an escort man. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes with these lavish lifestyle, love, romantic things that people be doing. But it's like everybody just want this fairy tale, and love is not a fairy tale. Life is not a fairy tale.
You know, I think it all about depends on what type of relationship you're in, you know, because like you said, like depending on the guy. Us three here on this podcast, in some form or fashion, we probably dealt with the mental health for all of us. So we, in a sense, can really internalize and can, you know, in a sense, understand how to evaluate things and be able to speak and talk and communicate with with our partner or anybody, you know, because we are able to listen and we will be able to empathize, like Tiffany said, with whoever we're talking with, so that they can feel like they're being heard. We can also do that, but in a sense, again, it's also like, how are we going to act upon what you're talking about? Are we going to take in what that other person's saying to make them feel better? You know, so like Mike saying, we're logical, y'all emotional. Sometimes, like you said, like you want all these lavish flowers and things like that. We might just want to give you a few flowers. If you feel like that more is better, okay, well, then let me know. I'm not in your head. When we have an argument and everything's coming out, then I'm like, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what I didn't know that was a problem. But then it's just the lack of communication, you know, because sometimes I'm just gonna say like, well, why you just won't say that? Tell me what's on your mind. You know, the older we get, we can't, I'm not saying that it's a headache. I think it's a headache for us as men to sit there like, okay, let me trigger this person. What are they talking about? Is this what they talking about? This and that. You know, it's always a second guessing game to communication instead of just being straight with it and understanding. Like Ford said before, we have to understand the fact of we need to worry, but not worry too much about your feelings. We got to be able to present to you and communicate with you in a way that you understand what we're talking about without you getting on the defense. And I think some people just can't take that. A lot of people can't take the truth.
A lot of times you may be having a conversation with your boyfriend or your spouse or significant other, and you hear what you want to hear. And then you take it to your friend, and then you make it into a whole big thing of what we think and analyze what you think that situation is, what you think they were trying to say, what you think they were trying to break down, what they were saying, when not listening to what they actually said. You're trying to overanalyze the situation and break it down to what you feel like it should have been, what you feel like he was trying to say.
That part.
And we as women need to learn to not self-sabotage because of what's going on in our heads.
Amen.
Absolutely.
No, because
Amen.
we will do that. We will self-sabotage. You will get with a guy and it'll be going good, and all that overthinking and analyzing and being critical in our self-esteem and the past and what daddy did, and it just all going on in our brain. Next thing you know, you have lost a good man because you crazy.
Right.
I'll be sounding like
we just trying to be simple about the situation.
Right. Instead of listening to what the guy's saying, we go overanalyze the whole situation.
And y'all hear be sounding like the DeBarge fella at the beginning of I Call Your Name. Is he gonna call me? Do you love me? Is this even your real phone number?
I think we express ourselves differently. Men are more direct and they respond to directiveness. When I listen to other stuff, you know, I can be on any app or listen to any other podcast. When a woman starts to express herself how she feels, she do the backstory. She go around the bend. What so-and-so did.
Right. Like 3 years back.
Yeah, and you might be asking her, so how do you feel about, and she was like, well, when I was in high school. Yeah. So I don't think men can listen, but I'm like, can you get to the point? Be direct, answer the question, and express what you're trying to communicate. And then a lot of times I've noticed women have a problem, like when he don't talk much to me, I ask him a question, like, how was the day? He like, my day was cool. That man, I understand what that man means. I'm chilling. But she's like, well, he's not opening up. He's not enough. So I think it's a way how women like to express themselves versus men. So when it comes to listening, like, man, look, bro, what's the point? Talk to me. Tell me what you want. What are you trying to get to? That's the problem. So I think we listen the same, we just express ourselves different.
What do you think, Tiffany?
Well, I do think, I mean, with Missy, when she said, I do agree. Everybody has very valid points. I do think that when it comes to women, we do have this things set in our minds as far as what we think what it should look like. And then we get disappointed. And when it doesn't show, show how, what it doesn't look like. So I actually had a situation like that not too long ago, where I'm like, hey, this is what I want. And he was like, but I'm doing this, I'm showing this, but I'm looking at it differently. So, so with that being said, it's kind of like, okay, I can see how we do things differently and how we interpret things and how we perceive things differently. So I had to actually sit back and I'm like, okay, the way that I'm thinking or what I'm expecting him to do, is that just irrational? Am I just thinking that because of like what I'm expecting a relationship should look like, and not really looking at the things that he's actually doing for me, So I actually had to sit back and I'm like, you know what? You are right. I do see the efforts. I do see the things that you are doing. And then I had to like, okay, you know what? I do see that you do love me because of the things that you do. So, I had to check myself in a sense of like, okay, I knew some of my thoughts and some of my expectations were kind of irrational. I do watch The Notebook a lot. I'm not gonna lie, that was one of my favorites. And, so, I always think, well, that's, that love and you jumping on the other person. I'm like, okay, that's what that's gonna be like, but it's reality, it's not. And I know, and I'm, I had to like check myself on that to know, like, you know what, this is real life, this is reality. And then you also have to see like, okay, what is his way of giving, what is my way of giving, and what is our love language, and then work through that.
I have learned to take a man for exactly who he is, not what I have fantasized him to be. That will save you a lot of heartbreak. I think what can help a lot of women if we just start really focusing on self-love and then just let the man, even though no matter how big, deep the relationship is, if you are a sucker for romance, you just be romantic and then just bring him in the mix. Any man is going to love coming home with, a bath, ready for him. And, you got him a massage ready and all this stuff. He's going to like it, even though he's not going to think of it. You think of it and you just enjoy that moment, even though he thinking you did it for him, but you're really doing it for yourself. I've realized that whatever I want, I do it for myself. And then I just bring whoever in the midst and they just like, oh my gosh, she's amazing, but it has nothing to do with him. This is my self-love. You just happen to be here.
Mark, you feel like something like that, what Arinda is saying, is something you would like? Or say you don't like, which you may not want to do something, but she's saying that she brings you into what she's doing. Do you think that's something that would open up communication?
For a general other type of guy, I mean, if you ask him, for me, my personal, I think it's cool, but now I'm probably gonna feel like I want to do something back for you if I'm walking home and this is what you're doing. So probably somewhere down end of the week or by the week, I'm like, maybe I need to try to do this, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like you bringing somebody into the fold who might not understand that language and you're trying to communicate to show them how to be romantic. You're giving them the ideas. Yes, you probably do that more than one time. But if you were somebody that understands that, that could be a sign of saying, you know what, I need to do my thing, because sometimes we are, as humans, even though we're in a relationship, we still gonna be competitive about things with that other person. Like, oh, you did this, all right, then let me try to step up and show you. I might try to have a romantic personal chef come up in this thing, cook for you, and then rose petals everywhere, something like that. Since you try to do like the bath and stuff like that, so I'm trying to one up, But yeah, I get what she's saying, because sometimes you do have to give examples and lead the way to show somebody, from that, or even with just being able to sit down and talk about, hey, this is what this looks like when I'm communicating with you, and this is what I want. It's just like you said, we kind of want the direct. We don't want, you might lose us with the long story. We might start thinking about some other things when you talk about, well, this is what happened when I was in middle school and all this other stuff, because everybody's not your therapist, or your mate is not your therapist. So a lot of times we're like, all right, what they want. We probably thinking like you just, we might start hitting the Charlie Brown in our ear. You never know. Some people do, after a while, like, you're always nagging and this and that or whatever, but, it just depends. I mean, examples do work though. I mean, I really do think that on both sides for me and women. Like I'm trying to show you, like, all right, this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna come in, I'm cooking this and that. This is what this looks like on a normal day when you, like, if I'm off and she's coming in to work, I'm gonna have food and dinner ready. You know, this is kind of something that hopefully that she can return in favor when she's off and I'm working, and hopefully she can be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna cook. So
I know a lot of times I've had women tell me, I'm so jealous. You always have men that are so romantic. That's not them. That's all me. I did all of that. He just happened to be there. And then he posted it and made it seem like he did it for me. But I did all of it. You know, so to tell women, don't ever look at another situation and think that a girl is just, oh, she gets food out and she gets, no. That is all me. So
you never had a man just be romantic.
Say what?
So you never had a man just do it on their own without you doing it?
Yeah, I'm lost.
It is always me. It is always 100% me. And then they take the credit and then they get with a new girl, you know, because that makes women want you because they like, oh my God, look at all. And then they get with a girl and then the girl realized, wait a minute, you didn't do anything you don't do anything for me like you did for her. But he's not going to say, well, that was Arinda. She did all of that. So anytime y'all see me, I bought my own roses. I bought my own, because I do self-love with myself. You just happen to be here.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's so unfortunate. That's all I can say.
It is unfortunate, but I get pleasure out of doing it for myself. And I get pleasure, like I'm a giver. So that's my love language. So I get pleasure out of giving.
You like me.
It's actually something I was just gonna say too, Arinda, about love languages. So is that something you guys feel like should be expressed at the beginning of a relationship?
I really don't believe in it.
I'm with you, Mike. Like I know, like 95% of the women, they all on it. Most guys, I'm like, I know my love. I know how you show what I like to be appreciated, but
left alone. That's what I like. Leave me
but
alone.
y'all don't feel like that's something you should communicate and talk to the female that you're with about in the beginning of a relationship?
I think it is. Like I tell my current relationship, she always say, she like, I love that you're so simple. Yeah, I'm simple. Leave me alone and I'm good. Hey, no, I don't know. The one thing I noticed, I said about the majority of women I dealt with, they are what's the word? Insatiable. You can't satisfy them.
Right.
You one thing, you do that right, then it's pushing for something else. It's a hit song, I think, out of the 80s. If I gave you an inch, would you try for a yard? That's the way I be feeling about it. And I'd be like, man, just cause I'm not into all this type of stuff don't mean I'm not with it. Like she was saying, if you playing something, let me know. I will fund it. I will go and all that. That just ain't what I'm on, but I support it. Right. Then, I had situations where I was dating this one chick. She had everything she ever wanted. It could have wanted. I ain't gonna make it sound like I'm just no cake daddy.
Oh, talk your talk, man.
But talk your talk. We went places. We did things. We ate good. You know what I mean? But you won't post me. That was the only problem.
Oh, well.
Why? Why is that everybody business? You know what I'm saying? It's just I don't get it.
That's a two-sided coin, bro. That conversation. So I don't get in there. Because some people think you hiding something. I don't like everybody in my business.
Thank you. That's my thing.
I don't do a lot of posting on social media because I'm a type of person where, who's ever is around me, my circle, they know what's going on. So I don't do much posting or anything like that. And, when I do, I do.
I learned y'all know I like to post. I like to post it all. And y'all know that, I'll post a hand, like I said last podcast. Y'all know those are different hands, but I've realized that it's best to just not post anything. Because I had to ask myself, why am I posting this? And I think a lot of it had to do with you know, the little slick comments, oh, you say this, but you don't have, she ain't got a man, or she ain't this, or she, you know what I'm saying? Or just having men just automatically assuming that I'm lonely and I'm desperate and then coming to me like a predator. So I start posting just to let people know, like, hey, I'm not lonely. I do go on dates. I do be in relationships, you know, but I'm realizing that who cares about those people, you know?
There you go.
Next relationship is going to be private. The
Mhm.
next person I'm posting will be my husband. Everybody else, I'm not
Yeah,
posting.
I can respect that. It's like a spouse and all that, but all that other stuff, like, man, people be in love with each other for 6 months, and then they hate each other after that. I'm like, I'm posting all that.
Mark and Tiffany, as counselors, do you guys see that a lot, where people are saying that that's one of the biggest things in their relationship is listening and communicating?
Yes, I do. And you know, that's how all it starts. You know, first, like in sessions, they'll start arguing about just little things, but then when you get to it, it's just they're speaking two different languages, or they're not really listening to the other person. And like I said, they're putting their own biases and what they think that person is saying, and then try to interpret it that way. So, I mean, I see that a lot. Also, you know, when it comes to that, that's why I say it's important to, you know, sometimes just having to sit in it, you know, and just surrendering. I think one thing about it is that when we allow someone to, like, okay, tell me about how you're feeling. And then, you know, people like, okay, well, I want to give pushback. It's all about I think the important thing is just surrendering and just allowing that person to talk, and then just accepting whatever that they're saying and just put into action, especially if you love that person.
This generation, like, this is a therapy advocate, you know, generation. Like, so many people are going and get help. So many people are digging the skeletons out of their closets that the family just threw in the closet, and they're actually like talking about it. So I really do think when it comes down to the millenniums, we're going to be the ones to really just take the Black man and the Black woman, look at each other in the face and say, look, I'm sorry, let's start over. Because those baby boomers didn't do it.
It's, to me, I'm cool until somebody be like, oh, this is my such and such, this is my such, this mine, this my, that my, that Johnny Gill, that bring my anxiety, and that I'm gonna mess it up every time. When you go to feel like, oh, can't nobody touch this mine. So that's a challenge to me. Why we just can't be what we are? You know what I mean? We ain't no need no title. CeeLo said it on one of the songs on Good and Marvin, 97, he say, I just wanna be. There's no need to put titles on you and me. Those are limitations. Living and learning are our only obligations. I live by them words, and it never works for me.
Yeah, well, might need another strategy then.
No.
I mean, I feel you, but if you ain't getting the results, then
It never worked. It never worked.
yeah.
But when I go with a different strategy, I feel like I'm betraying who I really am. Like, I really be feeling like this ain't me.
I understand exactly where you at with that one. 100%.
I'm gonna get me a therapist. I need to figure out if I'm crazy or if everybody else crazy.
So you just like being in situationships, like you don't like relationships.
No, it ain't no different.
No, I ain't gonna say that. I would hate to be in a relationship that end up being just another situationship, and I can't express that.
Right.
That's understandable.
When it could have just been what it was to start with.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that.
Well, Mark, give me your final thoughts on
Our
this.
thoughts. So basically, like what we talk about was communication relationship. So basically, this comes down to that we need to be able to empathize with our partners on both ends, men and women. You know, we got to be able to find a way to understand and not to just listen. You know, there's all different types of communication. Like I said, we have the love language. We're going to either show you with examples to try to show you what we want if you're trying to continue to work on your relationship with someone. It's just that we got to be able to not just talk at that person or ignore that person. We got to understand that everybody, each person, individual that we with has feelings. Everybody expresses them a certain way. And at some point, after 6 months to a year, whoever you're with by now, you should understand how they communicate if you're paying attention to that person.
I'm thankful that a lot of Black men in particular, they're voicing their concerns that they do have with being in relationships with Black women. And I just want y'all to know we hear y'all.